You're watching the News Hour at 9.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's begin the News Hour tonight with an update on the COVID positive cases in India. We today stand 15 short of the 19,000 mark. For the third day in a row, we've added more than 1,000. It's 1,300 plus COVID positive cases that we've added to our tally, and the death toll today actually stands at 603. But the silver lining is that 3,259 people have successfully recovered. My colleague Hardeep Duggal joins me and tells us the elaborate plan of India's recovery rate and how we compare to the rest of the world. Over to Hardeep.
It is a mixed bag as far as COVID-19 statistics as of today are concerned. And I say that because the Indian Council of Medical Research, or the ICMR, today admitted that there had been a huge variation in the number of positive cases after the usage of rapid testing kits, and which is why all states have been advised not to use these kits over the next 48 hours. But that apart, today I want to talk about the recovery rate and how each state is battling COVID-19. And topping the charts is Kerala with a recovery rate of 98.9%. Now remember that this recovery rate is calculated with the number of closed cases. These closed cases have an outcome, which means either the patient has recovered or the patient has died. And out of the 273 closed cases in Kerala, 98.9% people have recovered. Coming in close second is Tamil Nadu with a recovery rate of 96.5%. Then comes in Maharashtra, which has recorded the maximum number of COVID cases. Here, the recovery rate is 69.5%. Remember, the number of closed cases here is 730. The worst recovery rate so far has been coming in from Delhi at 61.5%. So this continues to be a sore point. Now let's take a look at how India is battling COVID compared to the world. Now the global average recovery rate is somewhere around 79%. And India with 83.6% is second only to Germany, which has recorded a 95% recovery rate. Now remember, in Germany, 92,000 cases have been closed as of now, whereas in India, the number is only 3,413. So that is the big cause of concern. But as of now, India is number 2 only to Germany. Spain coming in at third position with 79.1%. Then comes in Italy, France, and the worst recovery rate coming in from the United States of America at 63.5%. But remember, again, that their number of closed cases is over 1 lakh. So keeping that in mind, this is what the global picture looks like as far as recovery rate against COVID is concerned.
Thanks, Hardeep, for that update. And now let's turn to our top debate on the News Hour tonight. None other than Minority Affairs Minister Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi today unleashed himself on what he called was the bogus bashing lobby for accusing India of being Islamophobic. Not just equality, Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi today said that India offered a heaven for Muslims. After all, Muslims, which were 15 crore in population in the country, enjoyed equal rights. This was in response to a scathing and unsolicited advice coming in from 57 Muslim countries in the OIC, which had protested against Muslim rights and how they were being treated in India. Today, the Modi government asserted yet again that India does not have a political fashion but a passion for secularism and harmony.
देखिए, भारत अल्पसंख्यकों के लिए, मुसलमानों के लिए स्वर्ग है। सेकुलरिज्म और हार्मोनी और टॉलरेंस आल्सो, वो कोई पॉलिटिकल फैशन नहीं है, बल्कि परफेक्ट पैशन है। और उस पैशन के जुनून और जज्बे के साथ हम काम करते हैं। हिंदुस्तान का मुसलमान, हिंदुस्तान का अल्पसंख्यक, हिंदुस्तान के समाज का सभी वर्ग खुश है और वो उस खुशहाली के साथ अपनी जिंदगी को आगे बढ़ा रहा है। और जो लोग इस तरह के माहौल को खराब करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, वो किसी भी तौर से हिंदुस्तान के मुसलमानों के दोस्त नहीं हो सकते।
So So, ladies and gentlemen, let me present to you the case on the News Hour tonight. While there has been a lobby in India that has been attempting to create tensions between the two communities and especially point fingers at the ruling government in New Delhi, the News Hour tonight, we pose some very basic facts to this Lutyens Brigade, which is up in arms after the NDA Mantri rightly claimed that Muslims in India were actually in a heaven. Can Modi baiters today deny that the yearly aid, monetary aid that has been granted to minority students actually appear for UPSC exams? It's given to these minorities to come up and compete. Can the lobby deny that the Modi Sarkar introduced an end to discrimination against Muslim women by introducing the triple talaq? Can this lobby deny that 100 centers were being set up, institutionalized by the center across the country only for minority welfare? Can they deny the fact that 5 crore scholarships for minority students were an example of empowerment, of upliftment of the minorities? And finally, isn't 25 lakh skill development jobs reserved for the minority communities not an example of how this government is committed to supporting minorities, to educate them, to bring them up to the awareness levels, as well as to be part of the job and the working community in India? So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to just ask one question, but before that, let's listen in to all those who oppose the Modi government for being Islamophobic.
Well, India is not a heaven for the Muslims who are alive. India has become a land from where Muslims are being sent to heaven. And I want to tell Honorable Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi Sahab one thing in this couplet, that gul chadayenge lahat pe jinse ye ummeed thi, wo bhi patthar rakh gaye seene pe mar jane ke baad.
So the legitimate question on the News Hour is just one. It is, why is this Lutyens lobby so wound up over India Muslim heaven debate? That's the question and the big debate. India Muslim heaven debate coming up on the News Hour.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
And joining me tonight on the News Hour is Dr. Sambit Patra, National Spokesperson of the BJP, Firoz Bakht Ahmed, Chancellor of the Maulana Azad National Urdu University. Also with us tonight is Dr. Fuad Halim, Spokesperson of the CPIM, joining me live from Kolkata. Majid Haidri, Political Analyst, joining me live from Srinagar. But first up, on the standpoint tonight, it is going to be Saba Naqvi, Senior Journalist, who's going to take on Anand Ranganathan, Author and Scientist. And Saba Naqvi, as you've often expressed on many shows that you've been on the News Hour, you have maintained a viewpoint that there is Islamophobia in the country. I want to ask you, Saba Naqvi, all the schemes that we have spoken about that have been set up for the Muslim, and as a woman, I want to ask you, end to triple talaq and a possibility of nikah halala coming, don't you think these are also serious issues of development of Muslim women in their community, something that would never have happened had it been left to the Muslim community? And let me also ask you, when questions have been raised about the Shaheen Bagh protest, they were only moved when Corona became a scare. Is that also targeting of Muslims, or is that something that is related to the overall health of a community that doesn't want to understand these critical issues?
So, Navika, I think you are underestimating the Muslim community. People understand a lot of very, very critical issues. I'll like to start off by saying that India is a paradise on earth in the values on which it was founded, and there is no country in the world which can presume to tell us, and to compare us with non-democratic theocratic states is belittling us. That's not the question. We have to stay with a higher standard in keeping with our constitution. Nobody need tell us what to do. And there are, since the corona shutdown, there have been cases where hospitals have stigmatized Muslims. They have come in the public realm, they've come in newspapers, they have been covered by the media. They have had to go back. There have been stories about vegetable vendors not being allowed to sell their wares. All of this. Now, before this, preceding this, I have walked through parts of Delhi where 14 mosques were burnt and vandalized. I have done it with my own feet, walked around, but we did not make much of that horror because we entered this national challenge of corona, where the hunger, desperation is what we should focus on. In the middle of that, it is very unfortunate, if you were me, to see what is happening on social media, the amount of abuse, to be called corona, to be called jihadi, to be called corona jihadi, go away, to get pictures day in and day out. It was always there on social media. It's reached a new threshold. And I'm a liberal, right? Everybody is just startled. We have never known a time where there has been so much abuse on the Muslim community, and that is without,
all right, Sabah, your time is up. On the standpoint, it's 90 seconds to each side. I have given you extra time because I know you are emotional about this entire issue, but let me get in Dr. Anand Ranganathan. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, Sabah says she is a liberal. Aren't we all? The question is, are Muslims only trolled and abused on social media, or are people like us also trolled on social media, being called Sanghis just because, we may have a different point of view? I just want to ask you, is this entire lobby or the, Khan Market gang, as they have been popularly referred to, are they actually completely ignoring another side of the story? How others are targeted and making this only about the victimization of one community?
Good evening, Navika. No, of course they are. As I said, I have a debit card, you have a credit card, these guys have a victim card. And OIC, speaking of religious persecution, really? Where in 13 countries, being an atheist carries the death penalty? It is like the devil quoting the scriptures, or Hafiz Saeed saying he believes in ahimsa. Naqvi is correct. I meant the other Naqvi. There still are some honest Naqvis left in this world, thank God for that. India is a glorious melting pot of all religions, and everyone enjoys the same constitutional rights. Sure, there is discrimination, and victims today are perpetrators tomorrow. But is it limited to one religious community? No. It may appear so because of rampant selectivity and victimhood by these guys. And some have perfected this art. Honestly, one day I'd like to write a book that, despite being bigoted, misogynist and violent, is revered by millions who, while loving its content, would exhibit a profound persecution complex and accuse other readers and authors of other books as being bigoted, misogynist and violent. It is unbelievable what these moderates brush under the carpet. They are the real Islamophobes because they fear Islam. They fear to make public the word of the holy book in its entirety because they fear being called illiberal and hypocrites. Moderates populate the caverns, extremists the caves. Moderates wield the pen, extremists the gun. Moderates snare the fundamentalists, but they spare the fundamentals. They accuse others of being Islamophobic, but they themselves are. Otherwise, I challenge them to tell me the prescribed punishment in the holy book of homosexuals, unbelievers, blasphemers, fornicators, dress code violators, idol worshippers, interreligious married apostates. क्यों बोलती बंद हो गई? बेवकूफ बनाना बंद करो. You and your hypocrisy are as transparent as the Zamzam.
Well, let me open up the debate. And Dr. Fuad Halim. Dr. Fuad Halim, should all Indians not be absolutely outraged with the OIC, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, calling India Islamophobic? I want to ask you, Dr. Fuad Halim, instead of standing up for the dignity of your country, and let me actually state the facts as they exist. Every Muslim has the same freedom of religion as everybody else in this country under the Constitution, Article 25 to 28. Muslim personal law is also protected, allows Shariat compliance in personal matters. It's only in India that something like this would be done. 14% of Indians are Muslims and 10% in 1951, and they've grown to 14% in 2012. Would minorities have grown if they were being persecuted in India? 32.6% Muslims work in the government jobs. And I want to ask you, these are also the facts that stay in India. 3 Muslim presidents India has had. 6 Muslims have been hailed as Bharat Ratnas, and of the 5 Oscars won by Muslims, 3 have been by Muslims, and the most famous actors have been people like Shah Rukh Khan, Salman Khan, Amir Khan. Have they been discriminated? Would their fan following only consist of Muslims, or have they been loved and given adulation by this country overall? And Shah Rukh Khan, probably the richest Bollywood star today. I want to ask you, Dr. Fuad Halim, why should everybody say that Muslims are targeted in India?
Well, firstly, the little bit of information that I could gather from your question, because the line is disturbed, is primarily, Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi has made a comment which is in line with what the BJP thinks of the Muslims in India. That is, they either belong in the Qabristan or they belong to Pakistan. He just extended what happens to people who come from Muslim origin after they reach the Qabristan. So that's his analogy, nothing more than that. And it's very interesting, Navika, if you note, that this tweet was given by Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi on the 21st of April. Now, the 19th of April is the most relevant day for the patriotic Muslims, because 80 years ago, on 19th of April 1940, the patriotic Muslims organized on an all India level Hindustan Day, which was to oppose the 23rd of March Lahore resolution of the Muslim League in favor of partition. Now, what you need to understand, Navika, is that the nationalist Muslims, which were conglomerating behind the Muslim League, were countered by the patriotic Muslims who organized themselves under the banner of the Azad Muslim Conference. The conference was held from the 27th to the 30th of April 1940, and they established Hindustan Day to be celebrated on 19th of April. Now, Abbas Naqvi misses 19th of April very, very consciously. He wants a little bit of the Indian legacy and the patriotic Muslims vertical territory, but he doesn't want to speak too much on Hindustan Day and the Azad Muslim Conference. Now, the problematic is here that the Muslim League government and the Hindu Mahasabha, these two parties together formed 3 provincial governments before 1947, and the first resolution in favor of Pakistan by an elected provincial government was the Muslim League and
1940, 1947. Why don't you come back to Sarkar 2020, sir?
Yeah, I know you don't want to go there because those are the roots of Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi.
Because the television debate doesn't render itself to a 73-year history being recited in one go in a monologue, sir.
Well, you might not like the monologue, but that's the root of Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi. He is a nationalist Muslim. He identifies with the Muslim League and the Hindu Mahasabha and the Hindu
So you are saying a nationalist Muslim should be abused? Is it a crime in this country to be a nationalist Muslim? Dr. Sambit Patra, what kind of a statement is this being made by Dr. Fuad Halim? I mean, from 1940 to 47, we've heard the entire history, and now the conclusion is Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi is a nationalist Muslim, so he should be targeted.
See, Navika, why do we have these debates, by the way? I don't, just a second, can I please come in? Thank you. Navika, I don't understand as to why we have these debates. Every evening we have these debates, and we have a Sabha Naqvi, we have a Majid Hadri and others coming and telling us how terrible are these Hindus who don't allow Muslims to flourish in this country, how bad is the majority of this country, despite the fact that Muslims, our brothers and sisters, have grown from 9% to 17%. We are the second most populous country as far as Muslims are concerned, only after Indonesia. And yet every evening the Hindus are to receive a thrashing from Sabha Naqvi and others, reminding us how bad we are. I mean, why do we have these debates when none of these so-called victims rose up to the cause of Kashmiri Pandits? Did any one of them rise up for Kashmiri Pandits? When 4 lakh of Kashmiri Pandits were driven out of their own home in Kashmir, where sisters and brothers of Sabah Naqvi live, did Sabah Naqvi or this Majid Hadri came down to condemn that? Look at these people. These people find solace in UAE and 57 Islamic countries. It is enough. These people should be called Ehsan Faramosh. And it is time when we should call out Khamosh, Ehsan Faramosh.
That is exactly the nationalist point of view.
Don't you dare to call me Ehsan Faramosh.
Of the
Call the Ehsan Faramosh, Khamosh. Listen to me.
Don't you dare.
Khamosh.
Who the hell are you?
Khamosh.
Don't dare.
Khamosh.
Should I tell you my
You all are Ehsan Faramoshes. You all belong more to UAE. You all belong more to OIC than to India.
They have always imagined
ये सलाह दिया आपने हिंदुस्तान को. I mean, today you are debating how horrible a country India is. No, today you Ehsan Faramosh. ये Ehsan Faramosh.
What our constitution represents, what our composite identity recognizes, for which the patriotic Muslims and the patriotic Hindus fought together.
Mr. Fuad Halim, your father was also a revered politician in this country. Your whole family has been a great. Your whole family has a revered, has a respected position in Indian politics. किसने दिया? India has given your family that respect, that position. And you say that India is a horrible country to live in. You say that India has no right. You say that Indians are the worst people. You say that Hindus are the worst neighbors. You say that Hindus are not to be believed. You say that Indian government is the worst government in the world. And that is why I should label you and many as you who call themselves as liberals and Khan Market gang people as Ehsan Faramoshes. Your best name should be Ehsan Faramosh. This थाली में खाते हो, उस थाली में छेद करते हो. Navika, can I please complete a few sentences? I was not interjecting when the Ehsan Faramoshes were speaking.
All right. Calm down, gentlemen. Calm down, gentlemen. Let me get in Feroz Bakht Ahmed and Sabah Naqvi on this. I want to ask you, Mr. Feroz Bakht Ahmed. Mr. Feroz, I want to ask you.
Yeah.
Is this the right conclusion that we have, that India is an Islamophobic country and Muslims are not prospered, and the fact is that they are profiled, they are persecuted, and yet they have grown from 10% in 1947 to 17% of the population today? Would they have grown? Would they not, have been actually seen as persecuted if they were not given the same guarantees under the constitution as anybody else who lives in India? I want to ask you, you're a Muslim yourself. Where do you stand on this?
Yes, Navika, please listen to me. While listening to my very dear friends Sabah Naqvi Bhaumik and Fawad Ali, I was shocked to smithereens the way these people have been demonizing and disparaging my nation, my country. I can't, I have no words about that. Recently, what Sabah did, and I never expected her to do that. She circulated one video. In that video, the way she had let down her own country,
I don't even know you.
Yes, just let me complete. Sabah, please, you are a lady. I do not want to shout upon you. Let me complete and then you answer. Please learn the manners of a debate. I respect you as a senior journalist. Just listen to me. Just have patience. Have patience to listen to this and then give a solid answer. ठीक है? ईंट का जवाब पत्थर से देना. Now, I was shocked to see this video circulated by Sabah Naqvi Bhaumik, in which she said that India has been divided into two parts, Muslims and Hindus, and these poor people, these vendors who are selling vegetables and fruit, they have been beaten up in non-Muslim areas. All this stuff she said. She also talked about some great Muslims like some Hamid of Sipla, like some poets, like all these things she said. I could not. In fact, what I did was, in order to give a proper answer, I also sent a video. Maybe I sent it to you. We people are living in India. And Navika, very rightly said by you, that why these people are able to shout so much. And I am asking you both, Fawad Ali and Sabah Naqvi, you are very well placed Muslims. You should thank God, you should thank your stars that you are living in India. India is a land of peace.
Absolutely.
He said in 1947, it is a land of peace, right? And you people have made it a land of misery. And people like you are
जो आपने पाया, जो आपने नाम कमाया, वो आपने कमाया इस देश में, इंडिया में। और आज जो आप तसल्ली की जिंदगी जी रहे हैं जम्मू और कश्मीर में, वो जी रहे हैं क्यों? इंडिया की बदौलत। अगर कश्मीर पाकिस्तान का हिस्सा होता तो आप समझते हैं कि वहां क्या हो रहा होता? आप जानते हैं पाकिस्तान किस तरह से हुकूमत चला रही है, वहां लोगों का क्या हशर हो रहा है। एंड आई वांट टू आस्क यू माजिद हायदरी, आई वांट टू आस्क यू दिस very very simply and straightforward, bluntly on the news hour tonight. I want to ask you Majid Haidari, अगर आपको इतनी तकलीफ है तो बहुत से इस्लामिक देश के आपके लिए दरवाजे खुले हुए हैं, सिटीजनशिप मिल जाएगी। क्यों आप रहते हैं इंडिया में और गाली देते हैं फिर इंडिया को, और दूसरे जब इंडिया को गाली देते हैं तो आप इंडिया की होने की बजाय आप दूसरों की तरफ हो जाते हैं? ये किस तरह का रुख है आपका? और अगर प्रधानमंत्री ने कहा आज आप टोपी पहनकर आए हैं, इफ इट इज फॉर इफेक्ट, लेट मी टेल यू, प्रधानमंत्री ने यह कहा था कि टोपी वालों के, जिन्होंने सर पे टोपी पहनी, अगर उनके हाथ में कंप्यूटर हो तो मैं और भी ज्यादा खुश हूंगा। और उन्होंने यह भी कहा था कि हमें पढ़ाना लिखाना है अपनी पूरी यंगर जनरेशन को। अगर इस पे उन्होंने एम्फेसिस दिया, अगर उन्होंने कहा मदरसा मॉडर्नाइज होना चाहिए और अच्छी तालीम मिलनी चाहिए, तो क्या गलत कहा? And if during Corona you want to point out fingers at the references to Tabligis, then may I tell you, Tabligis are 0.0005% of the overall population of Muslims in India. And yes, the Tabligis have been singled out because they broke the law and they endangered not only their lives but lives of many people wherever they have traveled without informing the governments. So what is wrong in pointing out if somebody has broken the law?
हमको मालूम है जन्नत की हकीकत, लेकिन हमको मालूम है जन्नत की हकीकत, लेकिन दिल के खुश रखने को गालिब ये ख्याल अच्छा है। Firstly, I would like to appreciate and congratulate Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji for his
सालों से ये ख्याल रख के खुश हो रहे हैं। अगर हकीकत पता है तो कोई और ऑप्शन क्यों नहीं एक्सरसाइज कर लेते?
Navika Sahib, let me also get a chance. I am saying firstly I want to congratulate Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji for the brilliance of this lockdown. Its timely start and how it has been extended, because this lockdown is saving the lives of people. I would call this lockdown as the Sanjeevani booty for India. देशवासियों, ये जो मोदी जी का लॉकडाउन है, ये देश के लिए संजीवनी बूटी है। I would also appreciate Nadeem Rahman, the alumnus of Aligarh Muslim University, who has created India's first indigenous COVID testing kit. It should make India proud that a Muslim man has made the COVID kit, which is India's first to test this thing. You rightly said, Navika Sahiba, you gave the very right example of Shah Rukh Khan and Salman Khan. They are not only the on-screen heroes, they are not filmy heroes, they are also COVID heroes. See how they are working. And then you also have Amir Khan. Amir Khan is the same man who in honor of this Phogat family came up with Dangal.
नहीं तो क्या कह रहे हैं?
Babita Phogat has
कहना क्या चाह रहे हैं? अक्षय कुमार भी बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं।
No, क्यों नहीं कहूँगा? And then मैं बताना चाह रहा हूँ, कर रहे हैं बिल्कुल। And then Dr. Sambit Patra says we don't need to have these debates. Yes, Dr. Patra, we don't need to have these debates. I am ready to be your Charan Das. I'll be your Das. I'll accompany you. Why are you not in the hospital? Why are you in these debates? Every time you say फौजियों ने लड़ना है, मेरे को ऐसा दास नहीं चाहिए। Why are you not the Why are you not the soldier today? आपने हमेशा हमारे सेना के जवानों की, आपने हमेशा सेना के जवानों की मरने पर आपने बताया हाँ वो वीर गति को प्राप्त हुए। आप क्यों नहीं आज जंग में सामने हैं? What are you doing on the debate, sir? I want you to be in the hospital.
आप भी तो हैं, आपको भी ट्रीटमेंट कोई करेगा,
जूते धो
आपका भी आज मैं आपके
ट्रीटमेंट की जरूरत है।
संबित पात्रा जी, सवाल सिर्फ इतना है कि ये OIC नेशंस होती कौन है हमें हमारे ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड पे क्वेश्चन करने के लिए। आप मुझे ये बताइए कि ये OIC नेशंस में है कौन कौन? पाकिस्तान, अफगानिस्तान, ईरान, इराक, इनका क्या रिकॉर्ड है? इनका क्या रिकॉर्ड है ऑफ प्रोटेक्टिंग देयर माइनॉरिटीज दैट दे कैन गिव लेक्चर्स टू इंडिया एंड पीपल लाइक माजिद हैदरी आर जंपिंग हियर?
ये भारत first and foremost I request you please mute these people because these victims don't allow others to speak. ये इतने हसीन victim हैं, ये इतने हसीन victim हैं कि दूसरों को बोलने नहीं देते।
Foreign countries, do you want to say
Navika, can I please be allowed to speak whenever
should India be an outcast country?
These victims don't allow us to speak, Navika. Such is our situation. Today in this debate, people of this country can see who are the victims and who are not the victims. इसलिए मैं शांति से बैठता हूँ, जब इनका चिल्लाना बंद हो जाए, जब इनकी पत्थरबाजी बंद हो जाए, मुझे बोलिएगा, तब मैं बोलूँगा.
Calm down, Majid Haidari.
Let him stop.
Majid Haidari, you made your point. Allow Sambit Patra to respond to you.
Hindu scripture है.
चल, ठीक है. Navika, I mean, such is the irony. This debate itself speaks volumes. I mean, look at me and Anand. We have been quiet. Whenever you ask us to speak, we speak. Feroz ji is also there. Whenever we are being asked, we speak. But look at these so-called victims. Ye Sabah or Salim, Fuhad Halim. All three of them non-stop, they don't allow anyone else to speak, and yet they keep on shedding these glycerin-eyed false tears saying that they're the victims. You don't allow others to speak. And you were talking about OIC countries. Navika, with all due respect, my brother Haidari Sahab is there. He's wearing a skull cap. I respect the skull cap. I respect his culture and tradition. Is it possible for a Sambit Patra or Anand Ranganathan to go to any Islamic country, sit in their national broadcasting news channel, I mean, or any news channel or anywhere with a vermilion on in my head? No, I cannot. I don't have any freedom there. I cannot even pray. I cannot even carry my God's image there. And here these people are shouting against India, saying that we are a third-rate country and the great Muslim countries are so fantastic. Just a second, allow me to complete. Navika, you have to allow me to complete. I don't want to take stone pelting from this.
Please lower Majid Haidari's fader, because I've requested him several times. Do not butt in. 1 minute. We'll have to lower your fader. Yes, Dr. Patra, complete your point.
So you have to understand, Navika, these, as far as this Khan Market gang, these liberals are concerned, you have to understand the modus operandi. These are the very people who, in fact, supported Charlie Hebdo. Remember when 5 of the French nationals were murdered because of a cartoon? Some people, many of them present in the television channel also today, some journalists came forward to say that, well, yes, ye to hoga hi. If you have a cartoon against Islam, then you should deserve to die. So such is the hypocrisy of these people. And let me tell you why they are frustrated today. They are frustrated today because today the Ram Mandir is going to be made thanks to the Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court in its vision.
But Dr. Patra, some questions that have been raised also need to be answered by the BJP. Kabristan, Pakistan references have been made by leaders in the BJP. Giriraj makes these statements every now and then. You know, at one level, if you have ministers in the government, then they also need to be reined in.
Okay.
It's not adding value to the sheen of Prime Minister
Navika,
Modi.
You have a point. Let me answer that. Navika, supposedly, if one minister makes one Kabristan or a Pakistan comment, does that condemn whole of the country? Well, yes. You have every right to take on the minister, and rightfully so. Night after night, you have been debating on those issues. But to go to UAE and to complain in UAE about India, just a second.
Fair point. So, Sabah and Anand Ranganathan, I want to ask you, and Sabah, for every comment that has been made out of turn by a minister in the Modi government, there has been action, there have been silenced, you know, but when an overseas body like the OIC targets India, I want to ask you, Sabah, as an Indian, should we join chorus with them? कहा जाता है ना कि घर की बात घर में हम आपस में जितना मर्जी लड़ लें. You and I can have differences, you can have differences with anybody in the country, but the fact of the matter is, do these countries who are members of the OIC have any right to preach to us when they have their own record to look at?
So Navika, the preaching also came because there was a BJP MP who had a very objectionable tweet about Arab women, and the BJP spokesperson should respond to that. We would be having a debate if there was an MP in any other country profiling Indian women, and who put that is a very serious matter.
Since BJP's name was taken, I need
that is a very, very serious matter that went viral in the Arab world.
This is fake news. This is fake news, and this shows the mentality of these people. You want to complain about BJP MP to UAE? You want to complain about a BJP MP to UAE? You want to complain about a BJP MP to OIC? Let me show you 1,000 tweets of Asauddin Owaisi. Did you go? By the way, where did you go? Did you go and complain to the United Nations about Asauddin Owaisi and his party talking about 15 crores versus 100 crores? None of you. None of you. Let me, Ms. Sabah, let me remind you of your ilk also. Your Asauddin Owaisi has made 1,001 such derogatory comments. 1,001 such derogatory comments against the Hindus, saying that 15 minute police hata do, fir dekho hum Hinduon ka kya karenge. That time none of you open your eyes. That's why I called all of you.
That's a valid question. And Dr. Anand Ranganathan, isn't that the selectivism that we are talking about? You know, if they get trolled, it's victimhood. If anybody else gets trolled, then it's fine. It happens on social media. And if Asauddin Owaisi and his party make some comments, then it's all right. But if anybody else from the BJP does, then we must go and complain, and we must join hands with the OIC.
No, of course it is, and this is the whole, you know, the religious brotherhood coming together. Now, please, can I please, you know, I have not interrupted for 40 minutes. It is unbecoming, Ms. Naqvi. Please wait for your turn. Now, I need to make 3 very quick points before I'm interrupted, which I would be. Number 1, Ms. Naqvi has yet again spread fake news. What Tejasvi Surya did, he quoted someone. Now, if tomorrow Ms. Naqvi quotes in a tweet Hafiz Saeed, does it mean that Ms. Naqvi holds the same views as Hafiz Saeed by analogy? So he quoted someone. Number 2, whenever मुझे अपने अजीज दोस्त माजिद हैदरी साहब की शक्ल नजर आती है, मुझे उनका वो कोट नजर आ जाता है. Navika, please allow me to say this quote. On 10th October 2017, that Muslims need not abide by the Supreme Court because they need to abide by the Sharia. Sharia is above the Supreme Court. ये माजिद हैदरी साहब ने कहा है. And as far as finally, you know, Dr. Halim is concerned, I must qualify my rebuttal to him by the fact that I truly respect what he's doing. He's a doctor like Dr. Patra, and he's an expert at his profession, and he's at the front line. So please, whatever I say need not be construed as, you know, infringing on his other expert this thing. But what the hell did he speak for 5 minutes? I mean, the co-founder of CPI wrote excruciating, groveling letters of apologies to the British कि मुझे जेल से छोड़ दो प्लीज, मैं तुम्हारी मदद तुम्हारे पांव पड़ूंगा. This is the Communist Party, and he's talking about you know, fighting against this thing.
Well, that's the whole point. That's the whole point. And ladies and gentlemen, it's the selectivism, it's the amnesia of the liberal lobby that is being questioned tonight. Yes, every Indian has a right to oppose. That's what a democracy is all about. Oppose anything within their own country and stand in opposition to what any government in a state or at the center may have to say. But to join chorus with the OIC, with an organization which itself does not have a track record of any kind of equality with their minorities, what are we talking about? Have we forgotten that this is the country that has fed us? This is the country that has made us what we are, given us what we have become, and today we are sitting and openly criticizing our own country and giving support to an international organization that has no right to point fingers at us? What has come to us as liberals? Is India bashing the only definition of liberalism? That's the question I leave with you, dear viewers. Thank you to my panelists for joining me on debate number 1. Going across to debate number 2, and that's the Corona Karam Yogi coming up on the other side.